Bonjour à tous et bienvenue à votre nouveau cours de français. Aujourd'hui, on va apprendre les verbes. Today, we are going to learn about the verbs in French. So, let's get started. First of all, tell me what is a verb? A verb is a word that shows action. For example, jumping girl. The baby sleeps. A man eats a burger. In these examples, jump, sleep and eat. These are the verbs because these are the actions. Alright, now let's move to the verbs in French. In French, the verbs are categorized into three groups, which are ER ending verbs, IR ending verbs and RE ending verbs. And today we are going to learn about ER ending verbs. Let's understand it now. What are ER ending verbs? The verbs which end with ER are called ER ending verbs. Now let's see how to conjugate ER ending verbs. There are only two simple steps that you need to follow to conjugate an ER ending verb. So the first step is to remove ER from the infinitive verb. Now what is an infinitive verb? An infinitive verb means your original verb, or you can say unconjugated verb. Alright? And the second step is to add these endings in the radical. Now what does radical mean? Radical means the word which will left after cutting off ER. Okay, now let's understand it with the help of an example. Here I have taken the verb parler, which means to speak, and I have written the endings also which you need to add in the radical. So let's revise the endings first. With je, you need to add E. ES with you, E with il and L, ONS with nu, EZ with vu, and ENT with il and L plural. Moving on to its conjugation now. First step is to remove ER. So after chopping off ER, we will be left with parl, P-A-R-L. So parl is our radical. Then we will follow the second step and we will add these endings E, ES, E, E, ONS, EZ, ENT, ENT into our radical. So that's how we conjugate a verb. I hope the conjugation of parler is clear to you. Now let's move on to its pronunciation. Je parle, tu parles, il parle, elle parle, nous parlons, vous parlez, il parle, elle parle. Now pay attention here. In the conjugation of il, elle plural, we will pronounce it as parle, not parlons, because all the endings which have ENT, they will be pronounced till E only. Alright, now let's do the small exercise of ER ending verbs, but before this, you need to understand certain important things. So these are some important points that you have to keep in your mind. While conjugating, if your subject is a name of a boy, then use il. For example, your subject is Paul. Now Paul is a boy, so we will conjugate the verb with il. Similarly, if it is a girl, then use elle. If there are two boys, then we will conjugate the verb in the context of they, that means with il plural. Similarly, if there are two girls, then use elle plural. Now pay attention here in the last one. If there is a one boy and one girl, then we will conjugate the verb with il plural. Okay? Now let's do the exercise. So the first question is Paul dash la pomme, and the word which is given in the bracket is aimer. So aimer is your verb, which means to like. So according to the rule, you have to put e with il, because Paul is a boy, so we will conjugate the verb according to il. So we will put simply e, aim. Now come to the second question. Nous dash la télévision, and the verb which is given in the bracket is regarder. So what we will do? We will cut er from regarder and we will add ons in the radical. So it will become regardons. Third one is Ria et Priya. Now in the subject there are two girls, Ria and Priya. So we will conjugate the verb according to elle plural. So we will cut er from adore and put ent. So it will become adore. Now fourth one is elle dash bien, and the verb which is given in the bracket is chanter, which means to sing. So we will cut er and put e with l, and it will become elle chante bien, that means she sings well. Now come to the fifth point, Manuel et Anish. Now there are two boys, so we will conjugate the verb as il plural. So it will become parled. Now come to the sixth point, which is vous dash au tennis, and the verb which is given in the bracket is jouer, that means to play. So what do we do with vous? We cut er and add ez, so it will become jouer. Now the seventh one is je dash ici pour le weekend, and the verb which is given in the bracket is rester. So we will simply add e with je, so it will become rest. The next and the last one is Rohan et Shreya dash a veter, and the verb given in the bracket is arrive. So there is one boy and one girl, so we will conjugate with plural il. Alright, so it will become arrive. Rohan et Shreya arrive a veter. That means Rohan and Shreya are arriving at 8 o'clock. Alright students, c'est tout pour aujourd'hui. That's all for today. Au revoir et merci beaucoup.